Do an opening statement. Good to be here. Just got off the van. Beautiful day in Birmingham. Hope everybody's doing well. That's all I got. Go Dogs. What do you guys have for me?
All right, we'll start up front with Bob.
Hey, Mike. Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrat.
What's up, Bob?
You've been in this league a long time as a player, assistant, head coach. You know, probably spent about your whole life here, about half of it maybe. The league's always been good, right?
Right.
There's 5 teams ranked. There's some getting votes. And just how have you seen the league maybe evolve? Maybe even going back to your playing days and through all the years you've been in. What makes it so good now?
A really good roster of coaches and staffs. The uptick in talent level and recruiting over the past decade, it's at an all-time high. And we're saying the same thing every year, right? I mean, the last few years I've sat here and we've all gotten similar questions, and we say, I think the league's better than it's ever been. And you continue to say it. I think this will be the best year in the history of the league. And we might be saying the same thing again here next year. It probably will be. A couple good examples. We're at Louisiana Tech, right? And we played at Georgia in the NIT, and I think Georgia finished that year near the top of the league. Georgia this year's picked 12th, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head, right? And the preseason computer rankings, Ken Palm's got us 57. It's incredible. It speaks to the strength of the league. I think the 12th place predicted team probably 10 years ago would have been at or near 200, right? The depth of this league is incredible right now.
Hey, Mike. Jordan Hill, Dogs 24/7.
Hey, Jordan.
You look at the roster, the transfers you guys brought in, a lot of them in the past season faced an SEC opponent or two. How much do you feel like that can help them? Obviously, they weren't playing SEC competition every night, but they've gone up against SEC opponents in the past. They sort of know what they're getting into.
A little bit, but it's such a long year, and 1 or 2 SEC opponents in the past will be a lot different than 18, and when you look at our overall schedule, will be a lot different than the 20. What do we have? 24 high major games. We've got 6 high major non-conference opponents in addition before the SEC tournament, so 24 out of 31. It's we have beefed up our schedule, our non-conference schedule. The conference schedule continues to get tougher. And our guys will have to adjust, freshmen, transfers, everybody, even our returners, again, with a strengthened schedule overall.
James Fletcher from On3. We've seen with the transfer portal a lot of mid-major stars making the jump to the high major level. What do you think the biggest factor in those players turning into high major stars is when they're able to make that jump from one level to the next?
I think the first thing is earning minutes. What are you doing in your program to get yourself opportunities on the floor? And I think it's a gradual process, and each guy has a different process, right? And a lot of factors involved. One being their competition on the roster and style of play and how they fit, and their development. Obviously on the court. As much as anything. Their daily practice habits, but a lot of factors involved, of course, and there have been a lot of mid-major guys that have made the jump to high-major basketball and have been very impactful, especially in our league. I can speak to our league where there's been a few, and we've got a few on our roster that we're hopeful are really impactful for us this year.
Good morning, Coach, or good afternoon, I guess. Coach, AP Stedham, AP Kelly, as we see at syndicated radio. Coach, what did you learn about your team's trip to Italy, and why Italy, and maybe I should say, why not Italy?
I think you answered it really with the why not Italy. As we talked about it as a staff and as an administration, everybody was excited. A lot of us hadn't had the opportunity to visit that country, and it was an amazing experience for the entire program. Hardly anyone on the trip had been to Italy and had a chance to sightsee and develop on the court, off the court, strengthen relationships, of course, learn a lot, spend time with with one another, and then, of course, take advantage of the extra practice time that we got heading into the trip. It's an incredible trip for us.
Jared Redding inside the Rebels on 24/7 Sports. A little bit off topic, but obviously there's a new sheriff in town at your alma mater, and Chris Beard. And one of the more notable games on their schedule in non-conference is a throwback game in Tadsmith Coliseum, a place obviously where you spent your playing career and all that. Just what's kind of one of your favorite memories in the Tad Pinnacle? I believe I think you played for Rob Evans, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
for 3 years, and then Rod Barnes for 1 year. But Coach Barnes all 4 years, 3 as an assistant, 1 as a head coach, 2 of the best coaches in the country. 2 have had incredible careers. Both those guys have had a major impact on my life. Coach Evans, to this day, have a consistent contact, as much a mentor as anyone in my life outside of my parents, Rob Evans, and Rod Barnes gave me an opportunity to come back and work for him at my alma mater after 4 years at Jacksonville State. So those 2 guys, incredible human beings, great coaches, a lot of great memories for myself and our teammates and our fan base. Tadsmith Coliseum was rocking at one point, where we had a lot of success there, 95 to 99, and played with some really good players who I threw the ball to and ran to the corner, before I turned it over, and fouled a lot, of course. We played a physical brand, and we had the place was packed. The student body was engaged. It was a really, really fun time for Ole Miss basketball. So it's really cool, I think, that Keith Carter and Chris Beard are bringing Coach Evans back, and hopefully a lot of former players and assistant coaches have the opportunity to be there, too, for that game.
Palmer Thomas, Dogs HQ. Coach, as you go into your second season at Georgia, what do you feel like the biggest difference for you and your staff is in terms of comfort level with this program?
I feel like we'll be better. I mean, simply put, I think we're bigger, more athletic, deeper, a better passing team, a better ball handling team. We're more familiar with our surroundings, with some, with expectations, with all those things. I mean, we're just further ahead this year than we were at this point last year. I think the Italy trip had something to do with that, of course. And we're just excited for the opportunity to be even more competitive again in the SEC this year.
Coach Anthony Dash at UJSports.com. As far as Russell goes and what you've seen of him in practice this year, what impact are you, tangible impact are you seeing on the court right now as you get ready for the season?
Size, 7 foot 280, Dash, presence. He takes up space, right? He's a really good screener. He's a really good offensive rebounder. He's working on his ball screen defense to become more effective there. And at 280, really changes ends well, at least in spurts. We got to be more consistent with that. But he's a guy that's going to impact our program greatly and immediately.
Hey, Mike, I don't know how well you got to know Eric Musselman. I know all you coaches know each other to an extent, I guess. But he was really one of the first guys that took advantage of the portal, and now everybody uses it. But Eric kind of seems like he was ahead of the game a little bit. I wonder what you think about Eric and the job he's done, and maybe how he's taken advantage of the portal to help his program.
Yeah, sure. He's the perception there is that Coach Muss has done a really good job with transfers, and I certainly would not disagree with that. And he's done a lot of good things at Arkansas. Obviously, he's had a heck of a run to this point, and I think that our whole league, our entire league at this point now, is taking advantage of the transfer portal, doing the best we can with finding the right guys that fit what we're trying to do. Coach Brady, anything?
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you, guys.